Perfection doesn't bring people closer, it quietly keeps them at a distance. And if this line made you pause or feel slightly defensive, stay with me. Because this is not a attack on people who strive for perfection. It is an explanation why striving sometimes feels so lonely. And many a times you don't even understand why it is happening. So here we are to understand this. If you're trying to be perfect in your work, your skills, professionally, economically, there's usually a reason for that. Yes, there is. There is a reason for you pushing yourself more than average people to achieve that perfection, or to get good with your work, to get good at your things. So that means perfection is not just vanity, it is something more. And since I'm a psychologist, I will tell you, it is protection. Yeah, it is protection because it could protect you from being ridiculed by not so successful people or not so empathetic people. We live in a society where these things are there. So yes, we do get ridiculed, criticized and all. However, perfection does have some drawbacks. I have been counseling people, and sometimes people share that like they are respected, but they feel unconnected with the people around them, or they feel lonely, or they feel like they are all by themselves, like they have been helping people and everything like that, but when they need help they feel like I'm all by myself. It's like they are admired, they are relied, they are seen as strong, and it is being communicated as well, like everyone be like this is the person and all that kind of things. Yet when they need support, the room feels empty. This is where perfection plays its hidden role. Yes. So psychologically, perfection does not signal safety, it signals distance. It's like it definitely looks admirable from a distance, like when someone appears flawless, always composed, and like always in control. But the unconscious message others receive is that there is no space, or there is no room for me or my humanness there. And what do I mean by humanness? That's just simply being human, who makes mistakes, who learn from the mistakes and things like that. Because they feel there is no space for them, they behave likewise. They keep you at a arm's length. They keep things at surface level because it's not because they don't like you, but because they don't know how to be human around you, because they see you as a very perfect idealistic kind of person, and be like how I can approach and things like that. And it's similar to how we look at our strict parents. We have love for them, we genuinely love them, but we are unable to show it. And all our methods to show them love is not being communicated to them. They just feel like we don't love them, but don't we? And there is one more thing happening here. Okay, so we feel close to people who also makes mistakes, and because that is so relatable that human beings make mistake, and when someone make mistakes we just feel related. And there is this thing that our nervous system does not move towards perfection. No, it does not. It moves towards relatability, because those are the cues which suggest that okay, this person is like me only. So there I won't be judged. There I don't have to impress the next person to, to stay or to do or to have that connection, or you don't have to keep up with a performance to stay in their good books. You don't have to do all of that, and that helps the human connection, the human relationship. But since we are talking about perfection blocks all these things, because perfection works very well as a armor. It keeps criticism out, it keeps the chaos controlled, but that armor also blocks touch. You may feel safe inside it, but the connections struggle to get through that armor that you are wearing, which is of perfection. This happens, right? Like sometimes people see you as too perfect and they're like, "Yeah, how do I approach you?" And this does not mean you should overshare or blur your boundaries, or like expose your wounds to all the people around you and be like, "I'm also human like you." No. No, you don't have to go to those kind of lengths. See, vulnerability is not emotional dumping. It is something quite quieter, okay? So, and why being vulnerable, why I'm discussing vulnerability, because that is one of the most important aspect of human beings, and that is what help us relate with each other. So vulnerability is allowing yourself to be unfinished, to be under the construction, to be like, like I'm also a human who is still in the process, who is also figuring out things. When you do that, it increases relatability, and you can communicate this thing sometimes by saying that, I'm not sure, this is hard for me as well. I don't think I have fully figured this out. How about give me some time to think and I will come back to you. And such statements, when you use, people feel like, okay, okay, okay. And these small admissions create emotional oxygen. They invite closeness. And for those people who do not practice what we just discussed, well, they would be respected but not confided in. They would be liked but not leaned on. They would be admired but not emotionally met. So, how about you practice that? And this is not because they lack warmth, but because they have learned to survive without showing need. And that's not how human world works, okay? Now it does not. And if this is you, I want to say this very clearly to you. It's okay. It's okay. Because you didn't become too perfect by accident. You adapted. Like, because of the circumstances, because of n number of reasons, because of fear, because of so many things, okay? However, now that you know this, I believe you could improve and let your human being be out and breathe. So, your adaptation would have been important for your survival. However, now for living life, you would need to understand that humanness is what helps us. Being human. Uh, because what happens is that this adaptation not only blocks intimacy or love, it is also blocking you from being you. Yes, because you are striving to be that perfect, to polish that armor, but what about you? So you have been carrying this armor for so long that it just feels like a part of your, sometimes it could be integrated with your body itself. But You are allowed to loosen it. Slowly, selectively, in spaces that feels emotionally safe. And why that is important? Because you are a human being. Because closeness is a psychological need, and that armor prevents that. And whenever we are deprived of that need, we feel lonely and isolated, even when we are with people. People are around us, but yet, if we have that armor, we will not feel closer. This is something which I work with people. So, if you ever want to work on this, I'm just a highway. I'm your psychologist, Anmol, ambidextrous Anmol. Alright, I wish and I hope this video was helpful to you in a little bit ways, in its own ways, and it was able to help you understand what perfection is doing and how you can be more human to your fellow humans. See you in another.